Hi, this is Garrett with Gwydion Reviews, and it is time for a review of the new Knocked Loose album, You Won't Go Before You're Supposed To. Metalcore band Knocked Loose are back with their third studio album, and truthfully, I have complicated feelings about this project. I am not the biggest fan of metal. Okay, let me be more specific. I'm not the biggest fan of this particular type of metal. If you give me some Metallica, System of a Down, Tool, Dream Theater, I will eat it up. Metal that involves screaming, heavy breakdowns, nihilistic lyrics, I don't know. I have a hard time with it. And it's not because I find it bad. On the contrary, I think it can be very cool and very well done. It's just not something that I find myself listening to nor seeking out all that much because it gives me really bad anxiety. This album included. The riffs and breakdowns are pummeling, the themes are dark and upsetting, and the throat-shredding vocals are aggressive and downright terrifying at points. There is quite a bit about this album that I find incredibly off-putting. With that said, I do think this is a great album. I don't know what it is. Maybe I'm a bit masochistic, but this is some fantastically made metalcore. Everything about this album is heavy from the sound to the subject matter, and it hits hard. This album absolutely pulls no punches. It pummels you in the face in the first few seconds, and it keeps wailing at you for 27 minutes straight. But what makes me like this album more is that it is pretty sonically creative. There are some cool tones and ideas brought out in the music that I can't help but appreciate. The chunky yet off-kilter electric guitar hits on the intro of Blinding Faith are killer. The sick-as-hell pick scrapes on The Calm That Keeps You Awake vibrates my skull. The reggae-inspired breakdown on Suffocate is one of the single best musical moments of the year thus far. And the album closer Sit and Mourn is one of the best album closers of the year as it ties all of its themes together in a neat little bow and gives us the most grand and epic-sounding music on the entire album. Really, my biggest nitpick on this album is less on the music itself and more on how this music makes me feel. For comparison's sake, it makes me think of the movie Uncut Gems. Hear me out for a second. Uncut Gems is a great movie about the destructive nature of greed, and it is exceptionally well executed with fantastic performances, great directing and cinematography, captivating storytelling, and a psychedelic score that glued me to my seat when I saw it. The movie is riveting, chaotic, and downright phenomenal. It also gave me a panic attack when I watched it. That is the same feeling that You Won't Go Before You're Supposed To gave me. It's a great album, and I'm glad I listened to it. It's heavy, brutal, and it's filled to the brim with passion and anger, topped with excellent breakdowns and gripping performances. Will I listen to this album again? Honestly, I'm not sure. My mental health is already spotty as is, and listening to this album certainly did not help. However, I am glad I listened to it, as it is a fantastic metal album. Don't miss out on this one. Just be sure to give yourself a nice break once you're done. 8 out of 10.